and this is completely counterfactual, if the house had been bricked up in 1960 with its contents and we were now going to take the bricks down, it would be amazing to see this place laid out for the late Victorian, early Edwardian era. However, it's not to be. Alloa House was knocked down. The masonry was used to fill in Alloa Wet Dock. So if anybody wanted to rebuild Alloa House, all they need to do is go down to the yard and start digging out the masonry. They had become too expensive. People wanted real wages, not subsistence. I think that landowners stopped wanting to live that life, and people, I suspect, didn't want to do that type of work as well. The fact that there was always somebody else to do something meant if you were in the front of the house, you probably had to live a very ordered life. You couldn't just pitch up late because the whole system, you had to get up at the right time because others had come to make breakfast.
Would you not have got them from the tea room or something?
No, we made most lighthouse keepers were good cooks.
Yes.
Good cooks, and some of them very good bakers.
Were you ever bored? Did you ever have nothing to do, or were you always working in the
there's always something to do. After you finish your work, when there's only 3 men working, you work 4 hours on, 8 hours off, 4 on, 8 off, 4 on, 8 off.
Well, I suppose so, and just very deep round the Craig, very, very deep. People don't think so, but it is very, very deep. And the roots would drag them down and they wouldn't be able to get back up, I suppose. But anyway, they were both drowned. It was very sad. And all the lighthouse officials came down from Edinburgh, and my husband had to take them out because there was an inquiry into it.
Coal, iron ore and limestone all fed the furnaces of central Scotland. Industrial furnaces and kilns required linings that could withstand high temperatures. Here at Burke Hill, high alumina fireclay was extracted. The fireclay was transported by rail to be made into refractory bricks for furnace linings. It was the railway that made possible the bulk transport of heavy raw materials. Railways also transformed the social fabric of Britain and expanded the horizons of ordinary folk. Working people in Scotland benefited because the Scottish Railways issued a higher proportion of third-class tickets than their counterparts in England did. Great stations, fast main lines and country branches, huge goods yards and single sidings, all part of the economic life of a nation, growing in confidence and prosperity. Of course, there were growing pains. The railways were built by private companies who put profits first. The new routes cut swathes through the countryside and penetrated right into the towns to centrally located stations. Loading and unloading installations required wagons of standard sizes. This one's from the early 20th century. Tens of thousands of these were built to a standard design that could be handled anywhere.
Yeah, I think there's lots of rules, like to look nice and for girls.
To stay popular, well, you have to wear lots of makeup and you have to be perfect and straighten your hair.
Girls would just get totally slagged or get left out if they came in looking horrible.
I think they'd all be really kind of quiet around you. Like, but if you were all done up, everybody would be like, oh, you look pure gorgeous.
I think that's what groups are all about, what you look like, mostly.
Because really there's only 2 groups.
I've been packing for 3 weeks. As you can see, that the room is an utter disaster zone, and it is not as bad as it looks because what you see remaining, we're just going to a black bin bag and head out for the tip. I mean, I've had this for a very long time, a badger's skin. These are personal artifacts that have enhanced my teaching over the years.
Well, I think everybody's a bit sad. Looking around today, the pupils, an awful lot of them have actually been wearing the old St Andrew's tie.
I thought that my school would last forever. I think you do.
Go.
And the idea that it could be flattened, it feels like part of your past being wiped out.
Just sporadic rings now.
The novelist in me mourns the idea of buildings going. It felt like a living place.
Mary fancies her prospects are good. She may marry one of the shop boys. They get discounts and wear white shirts and silver bands that keep their sleeves up. Andre, Madame Antoine, is enjoying some private time in a busy working night. Her business associate, Oscar Slater, is soon to depart for America. The night's profits will be required to go towards the journey. The nature of their work and their status as immigrants has brought the couple to the attention of the authorities. Mary's neighbour, Constable McGimsey, visits. He has recalled that Mary's deliveries often take her to the parish of Miss Gilchrist's murder.
Mary, I want you to remember, where were you on the night of Monday the 21st? Could your rounds have taken you to West Princess Street? Be clear now, Mary. There could be much scrutiny by the press.
They were usually so taken aback that there wasn't anything painful after that. So your friendly open manner is a way of manipulating people? Oh, I don't deny it. I was lucky to have parents with a great love of learning and had plenty of books in the house. On this desk and beside it are the books that were in my parents' house when I grew up. One of the ones I found most exciting as a very wee boy was the Harmsworth Encyclopedia, printed I think in 1932, about 2 years before I was born. And I thought it was wonderful that here was a book in which you could get everything. Here is the sun seen from the planet Mercury. Wonderful things. Moths and the flags of nations. This schematic presentation of the interior of a human body as if it were a machine greatly disturbed me, rather frightened me. I used to try to pass over that one quickly. There was no separation in my imaginative mind between the adventures of science and space with the possibility of travelling to other worlds and the fantasies of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. It was all material for the stories I told myself and my sister